But what is the bottom line? The bottom line is, how do you turn around the economy? That is the bottom line. So the policy measures is, how do you turn around the economy? How do you make this economy inclusive in terms of its growth prospects? How do we create jobs for the youth? How do we lower the cost of living? And how do we create a momentum for future growth? That is the outturn of this, and that is the expectations. I think the most important thing is to understand that we're planning for the next 1 year, but we are providing adequate measures in terms of how we can sustain the momentum for growth, so that we get an inclusive growth outcome. And that inclusive growth outcome means we are going to solve the problems where we started. This administration started with two extreme problems. The first one was financing constraints. You cannot finance development because you have no resources. And the second extreme is that you didn't have headroom for debt. So for us, we are actually saying, how do we resolve those two constraints? No headroom for debt. So in a sense, we have to ask ourselves, how do we raise domestic resources in a way that is going to sustain economic turnaround? Because economic turnaround is very, very important for everyone. The second thing is that once you achieve the turnaround, how do you create that momentum for sustainability? And that is also very, very important. So we look at short-term policies, we look at medium-term policies, and we look at long-term policies. And the long-term policies is to make sure that public policy works. That is poverty reduction. We have to create jobs for the youth. We have to make sure that the economy is sustainable in terms inclusive and sustainable. But more importantly, what has hit us very hard is the drought, which we haven't seen for the last 40 years. So the question we're asking ourselves is that, how do we make sure that we don't have a repeat of that? So food security and climate change will become a focal point in terms of our planning. And that is what one of the things is to ask, what measures